At the 2024 British general elections, former human rights lawyer and MP Keir Starmer of the Social Democratic Labour Party won a nearly 172-seat supermajority over the Conservative Party, which led the UK for almost 14 years. However, as The Guardian notes on May 16th of 2026, his rule was anything but impactful, with significant scandals shaking his ability to govern and finally leading to his resignation just a few months ago. However, his replacement, Andy Burnham, MP for Makerfield and former mayor of Greater Manchester for almost 9 years, has attracted a significant amount of media attention, and lots of British people have placed their hopes in him to change the country. So it's when considering that the United Kingdom has had nearly seven prime ministers in the past 5 years, and more importantly, since the country faces an extremely uncertain future, it becomes crucial for us to consider today's all important question as the country hurdles towards a multi party system. Is the hype surrounding British Prime Minister Andy Burnham the result of savvy PR, justified, or the result of savvy PR? And while his savvy public relations cannot be ignored, the truth is simply that Andy Burnham is likely a driving force for change within the United Kingdom and absolutely cannot be underestimated. Andy Burnham, the hype surrounding Andy Burnham is absolutely justified for three key reasons. Firstly, his focus on reducing the cost of living for average British people. Secondly, the fact that he's the perfect antidote to Reform UK, a rising force within British politics. And lastly, because he represents decentralization and moving away from the central authority in London. But first, before understanding Andy Burnham's impacts on foreign policy or economics, it's important to understand his focus on working class British people and his attempts to bring them back. According to according to the Telegraph, on December 19th, or rather on May 19th of 2026, Andy Burnham has overwhelmingly focused on reducing the cost of living for average British people, passing several laws cutting taxes for pubs and reforming social care. Moreover, Moreover, according to Politico UK just 17 hours ago, due to this focus on working class British people rather than the technocratic governance of Keir Starmer, Andy Burnham has successfully improved the party's standing within the United Kingdom and made it the largest polling political party once again. Therefore, the hype surrounding Andy Burnham is absolutely justified simply because of his focus on working class British people. However, the former largest party in the United Kingdom was not in seats, of course, but in the polls, was Reform UK. And Andy Burnham's approach to defeating them is absolutely crucial when considering his impact on the future of the United Kingdom. According to the New York Times on May 15th of 2026, for much of the time after Keir Starmer became Prime Minister, Reform UK, a populist right party, absolutely soared due to dissatisfaction with Keir Starmer, and for a long time polled between 28 and 32%. However, as Al Jazeera notes on April 22nd of 2026, after becoming Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Andy Burnham has managed to bring the Labour Party back to the forefront of British politics, in many polls surpassing Reform UK. Therefore, because of his impacts on the Labour Party and bringing them to the forefront of British politics with a concept known as the Burnham bounce, Andy Burnham absolutely cannot be underestimated within British politics. However, Andy Burnham also represents something deeper: the decentralization of the United Kingdom away from London. According to according to the Wall Street Journal just 17 hours ago, under his under his mayorship, Greater Manchester saw increased economic growth, and he also took decisive action, nationalizing the city's buses and bringing them under government control. And with these decisive actions and the improvement of economic growth, Sky News, Sky News UK notes on May 15th of 2026 that he represents that local governance and devolution can absolutely be achieved and be successful within the United Kingdom. With rising support for Scottish independence, it absolutely seems that Andy Burnham will be able to handle this crisis effectively by decentralizing the government and promoting further devolution to 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 keep the British Union together. Therefore, Andy Burnham cannot be underestimated within British politics because he represents a model for successful regional governance and decentralization within the future, something which is quite popular among British people, especially those living within Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Taking a step back, we see that the United Kingdom faces a significantly uncertain future, with the emergence of five parties within England and six parties within Scotland and Wales, or rather, six major parties within those two places. However, it's when considering the potential future of the new prime minister that we ask today's question: Is Is the hype surrounding the new British Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, the result of savvy PR or something easily justified? And the answer is absolutely yes. The hype surrounding British Prime Minister Andy Burnham is absolutely justified because of his focus on reducing the burden on average British people, his the fact that he's the perfect antidote to Reform UK, which poses a major threat to the remaining four political parties within the United Kingdom, and lastly, because he represents a model for successful regional governance and decentralization, something which is quite popular in Scotland and Wales. Thank you.